Previously on Moment of Balance.
We would like to ask you three to help us on a joint mission. I have been working on a plan to connect the entire Earth Kingdom using Kuvira's old train system. I would like to stop at these 8 locations to help build this infrastructure and help whatever towns we come across in need. The first stop is Seagon Village.
Did you talk to any of the people out there? They are terrified.
Secret tunnel! Secret tunnel! Chong, your family's here.
Guys, this is my brother Halen. He is him.
The grain silo is on fire. Halen's breathing a little heavier now. They said they'd kill my family. We lit a fire. The lady will be happy with us.
Your townspeople would like to be armed.
Just come to my attention that now would be an appropriate time for me to step down. We are going to begin the episode with you guys on the train heading towards your next destination. So, before we head to our second destination on our big train journey of electric possibilities, is there anything you guys would like to discuss, talk about, etc.?
I think Sabi is sleeping right now because she expended a lot of energy the last time. And I don't know if Hanako and Chong want to chat. I guess this would be a good opportunity. So yeah, I think Sabi is like falling asleep in the car, probably sitting up, maybe drooling a little bit.
Is Sabi sleeping in her cart or in Hanako's cart?
Probably in Hanako's car.
Yeah, probably.
Let's be honest here.
Yay.
We crossed that bridge a million miles ago.
I think where this scene happens is probably Hanako knocks on Chong's door at, I think, an hour where she would be expecting that Chong might be getting out of bed. Maybe he is out of bed, maybe he isn't. I'll leave that up to you. But he gets a knock on his door.
Chong opens it, and you can tell that he hasn't slept very well. He has bags under his eyes. His clothes are a little wrinkled. Looks like he's been up for a little bit. He looks you up and he says, hey, Hanako. What's up? Morning, I should say.
Hey, good morning, Chong. I wanted to check in on you really quickly. And Hanako kind of looks around to make sure that, like, there's nobody around to see this. Do you mind if I come in for a moment?
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's a little messy, but nothing you haven't seen the apartment before.
I'll pay it no mind.
And Chong lets you in.
And yeah, Hanako walks in after you. Once the door's shut, she has sort of a serious look on her face and says, I've noticed. I would have assumed, given, that your family is here, that you would have been, I don't know, out and about throughout the train a little more often. I haven't really seen you much. I'm a bit concerned. Is everything all right?
Oh, everything's okay. I don't know. I've just had a lot on my mind since they've been on board. Since everything that happened back there. I gotta tell you, it's not the reunion I was expecting.
I can imagine not, no. I noticed Halen has a bruise. Is he okay?
Chong visibly winces when you mention Halen's bruise. Oh, I mean, he's been through a lot, with the whole village thing. He might have gotten hit during the interrogation process. I might have watched it happen.
Hanako's silent for a moment, and she puts the pieces together. Sabi?
You see Chong visibly wince again. Yeah, she got frustrated with him because he was, quite frankly, being stupid. And she hit him only once with the butt of her gun, and he wasn't answering. And afterwards, he gave some more answers, which, it worked, but I asked her not to do it again afterwards. But I also didn't stop her. And I think Chong takes a seat and he says, he wasn't. I mean, he's always been a sourpuss, but ever one that I thought could. Chong sighs again. I'm experiencing some feelings, and I don't like it.
Sure. And I'm not going to make you talk about anything you don't want to, but it's just unnerving seeing you like this.
I was so mad at him last night when he wouldn't tell us anything. It was like he wanted something bad to happen to him, which is so selfish. My mom's pregnant. Thankfully, she seems to be okay, but I can't imagine. I don't want to put any stress on her or really undue stress.
Of course.
Now everyone might be in danger, and I'm still lying to everyone. And I think Chong lays back on his bed and kind of bangs his arms and feet up and down, kind of like a little bit of a toddler having a tantrum, and he's just like, it's all so frustrating because I love them, but also, god damn it. Oh yeah, then he stops and he just takes a deep breath. Sorry, and then he sits back up. He's like, again, I'm experiencing the feelings. I don't like the feelings. Looks up at you and goes, I know you and your mom had some rough patches, to put nicely. How did you deal with being frustrated with her? I've never, except from when I left, I've never been frustrated before with them. And no, I thought with time, those feelings would just go away. Kind of icky stuff I'm going through. And I don't know, all this just reared it back up. I thought it went away. Instead, it just buried itself deep in there. And I don't know how you dealt with it.
I have to confess, Chong, I didn't. I don't know that I can actually provide the advice that you need right now, because the relationship that you have with your family is something completely foreign to me. I don't understand how a family like yours can even exist. When I was frustrated with my mother, I had no recourse, nothing to do with that feeling, aside from bury it. Because my mother was the one in charge. If I didn't like how things were done, well, quite frankly, there was nothing I could do about it, because I was the... Have I ever... Goodness, no, I haven't. When I was a child, I never knew my father. He left a long time before I would have been old enough to remember him. And I don't know much about him because my mother didn't like to speak of him. He was, I think, an embarrassment to her. And many things about me, I think, reminded her of him. And Hanako sort of realizes she's idly playing with a strand of her hair and tucks her hand away. I couldn't change things because I wasn't worthy of it. I simply listened, and I obeyed in the hope that one day she would respect me. And she didn't. And all of that resentment and frustration festered and burned until I did something incredibly stupid that may or may not have featured your cat. If I can give you advice, my advice is that you should confront it sooner rather than later. Because the longer you wait, the more explosive it's going to be. And it's already exploded once.
I think Chong pauses for a long moment. And he goes, you're right. I know you're right. And I think that's where all this is, a lot of the icky feeling is stemming from. Because confronting it means probably telling the truth or continuing to not state it. And it was so much easier doing this miles and miles away.
Again, like I said, the way that your family works is difficult for me to wrap my head around. But what I do understand is that your father shares a lot of your philosophies on life. And I think that he would understand why you took a break from the air nomads. And I think that he would be happy to know that you returned later, but only when it was right for you.
Be honest, that's not the part I'm worried about. I know he'll be cool with me taking a break, and so my mom. I'm scared that they're gonna ask why I didn't come back. And I don't know if I'm ready to have that conversation with them. So,
Do you know why you didn't go back?
yeah, I do. And for my family's safety, I think once we're at Bossing Say and we all are off the train, I'll tell them the truth then and get it all out of the air. But for now, Hanako, it's a small train, and I've seen the way Asami's eyebrow has twitched at Dorji's flute being played at 3 a.m. I think we gotta keep peace, at least until we know that if they want to leave and leave safely, they can.
Of course. I'll do what I can to help mediate things around here.
Things are awkward with Halen. I'll be able to keep things calm with that. And I'll have to bite my own tongue when he calls me a monk. And probably Sabi. Oh, she's gonna make so much fun of me. Oh, God. And you can see Chong smiling at that. He looks at you and goes, "How many monk jokes has she made with you? Like from yesterday to today?"
In private, at least 3.
And I think Chong's giggling now. He's like, "Okay."
I believe there would have been more had we not been otherwise preoccupied.
Chong's smiling now. He's like, "I've been prepping myself for that too. I this is good. This, you know what? No matter what happens, Hanako, this is definitely gonna be interesting."
That's what I'm afraid of, admittedly, but we'll manage it as best we can.
Sean gives you 2 thumbs up. It's like, hey, as long as us three work together as a team, we a-okay.
That we will. We always are. And I think Hanako kind of awkwardly gives you the 2 thumbs up back.
All right, well, the train is starting to slow. You guys look out the window and you have just passed a large mountain range and now you are heading towards the sea and it is you haven't felt the outside yet, but you can tell just based off the vegetation, it's fucking cold. You are in a cold part of the Earth Kingdom.
What's the town we're going to?
It is a town called Bin Air.
Bin Air.
Yes.
Hey, here's a very important question. Has Chong been to Bin Air before?
I was actually going to ask Chong that. Have you and your family been to Bin Air before, or is this a little too far north for your family's travels?
I think maybe Chong has been here before, but has super vague memories of it because I think they've only come here once or twice just because it's so out of the way.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
How big of a place is this?
So, you guys are going to get off the train. Asami is leading you through the town. You guys are taking a look around. It is, well, the first thing you guys notice, it is old as shit. Like, one of the oldest towns you've ever been to. It is, like, at least 700 years old.
Damn.
Yeah.
Is it old like stately or old like rundown shithole?
It is Well, the construction on the buildings seems fine. It doesn't seem like the place is falling apart, but it's like architecture that you don't even recognize because it's so old that the Earth Kingdom's style of architecture hadn't even developed yet.
Right.
This is primarily a town surrounding the port. So it's not enormous. It's not like a city. But it's not particularly small because as you walk by the port, which you do have to walk by to get to the town hall to meet with the mayor, you everything is sort of surrounding this port, and it's a pretty large port. Chong, do you think you would be able to use your move with only having been here once or twice?
I think Chong could, but with higher penalties.
Maybe give him like some minus forward or something to using the move.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a disadvantage, like already like -2 because Chong doesn't remember this place super well.
Yeah, -2 sounds good. Roll for Otter Penguins, Unagi, and Hot Springs with -2 forward.
Just let me remind myself what I'm rolling with. Oh my god, Chong rolled a 10 without Harmony Plus.
Okay.
Okay, Chong, you got 2 questions.
Okay. Who is the most famous person here?
That would be Mayor Tan, the mayor you are about to meet. He's one of a long line of a powerful family that has had a lot of power in this town for a really long time. And yeah, he is just the latest of this family to be the town leader.
What's the best local pastime?
Oh, that is something Kid Chong would have registered to
Yeah.
long-term memory.
Oh yeah.
So appropriate.
So this is one of the few towns in the Earth Kingdom that has a significant waterbending population. Because this town is close, it's the closest port to the Northern Water Tribe, so it has a significant Northern Water Tribe population. And there are a lot of Northern Water Tribe festivals that happen around here, and that's actually what you came here for all those years ago. Your family had picked up some Water Tribe folk songs, and your dad was really itching to play them somewhere, and had been like, looking up like, how can we bring a family of like 20 to one of the water tribes? How much is it going to cost to get on a boat to one of the water tribes? And that is kind of out of the question because that's a lot of people to put on a boat to send to the water tribes. So he found the next best thing, which was a Northern Water Tribe Cultural Festival in Bin Air.
So, is one of these festivals coincidentally also happening so that we can engage with it to get the rewards of the move?
It is not happening, but you may meet some Northern Water Tribe people who you can speak with about this kind of stuff you saw back then.
And we could say that Chong, like when looking around the town, he like since we're about to meet the mayor, like that's where he'll like get the register for that. And I'm sure looking around, maybe he recognizes the architecture. Like let's say, maybe it's a bit like with Bryant Park, where they kind of keep up the Winter Village buildings and whatnot. Like, but it's like a ghost town.
Yeah, that does make sense. In their town square, they've got some like empty stalls that they often fill with like sea prune vendors and whatnot. And there may not be any sea prune vendors now, but Chong, what's your opinion on sea prunes?
You know what? I think that's why Chong remembers this place because Chong despises sea prunes. They taste like the ocean. They're so salty. It's as a vegetarian, I think more by choice rather than by like airbender conviction or whatnot. Also, because I assume Chong's family also is. Some of them are vegetarian, some of them are pescatarian, I bet, but mostly lean towards vegetarian because they're all hippies.
Yeah, Chong Sr. does strike me as a vegetarian.
Oh yeah, they strike me as peace and love, man. And I think for Chong, it feels too much like eating fish. And Chong just does not enjoy the texture or flavor of that. So for him, he doesn't go for that. He goes for any of the fun water tribe flatbreads, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You know, those are also made with seaweed.
He doesn't mind seaweed, he minds sea prunes. That's different. Chong will like seaweed because it's but in limited amounts, I'd say.
All right, so with this information that Chong does not like sea prunes, you guys are all heading over to the town hall, which is conveniently located right next to the docks.
That's, yeah. No protesters this time.
No protesters this time. Now, one thing you guys did notice walking through the town was that it's kind of broken into very segregated districts.
okay.
Like, I said that this was very old architecture, but some of the architecture does differ in a way that is uniquely different nations. Like, when you first came in, you walked by what is essentially a Fire Nation community. You could tell, Hanako especially, there were some flavors of Fire Nation architecture on there, and most importantly, a lot of red decorations. We know how Fire Nation people love their red.
So true.
As you got closer to the water, you were noticing some more Water Tribe flavored architecture, primarily using pelts in their windows, like as curtains and decorations. So you can very clearly tell where each community is. But enough of that. Let's enter Town Hall. So you guys follow Asami into the Town Hall, and a man who looks very important. He's wearing a very mayoral outfit, notably green, comes out and welcomes you all. Comes out and says, "Why, pleasure to meet you. I'm Mayor Tan. Thank you for coming and setting up this meeting with me. Miss Sato and you three are?" Sort of gesturing in you three's direction.
Diplomatic representative of the United Republic, Hanako, at your service.
Pleasure to meet you.
Chong sticks out his hand, being like, "We're Nation representative helping out, and also words. Sorry, I got nervous for a moment. I'm Chong Jr.
Oh, a junior. You must have had a real important father.
Oh, I do!" And Chong's shaking his hand, being like, "Remember, my family and I, before I became Air Nation, we'd come and perform here occasionally for your guys' Northern Water Tribe festivals."
I can't say I recall
Don't.
any little airbender types of those.
Oh, I wasn't airbendery then. That kind of happened like a while later. I was pretty young when we did it, and there was like a bunch less than us. We've added some new members to the band since then. But I think when you see my dad, you'll be like, yeah, like that little memory jogger."
Perhaps I will. And he sort of slowly stops shaking your hand and pulls it back.
Sabi has been kind of like hanging back a little bit from the other two, and she has her hands in her pockets of her like top coat and looks a little uneasy in here, and just kind of like nods to the mayor. "My name's Sabi. I work for her."
Glad to have you on board. And he ushers you all into a meeting room. And Asami, like last time, is carrying her folder full of files. And she immediately begins her presentation. This time around, she is pitching a form of electricity, not wind turbines this time, but a form of electricity created through ocean currents and waterbenders. Seems like he is very enthusiastic about all the stuff with the train in particular, because, well, what is a train if not a way to speed up commerce? And it seems like the docks are very important for this town. But once Asami finishes pitching her new waterbending form of electricity, he leans back and says, "Absolutely not."
You see Sabi kind of like look back and forth between him and Asami and kind of lean in. "Wait, why?"
"I know y'all are newcomers. I know you're not familiar with our quaint little port town, but we got a little bit of a community tension going on.
What sort of community tension?
So we don't have the kind of work going around that we used to. And there are a lot of people struggling to get consistent work at the port because there ain't as much trading as there once was.
Right.
Okay.
The communities around here are very insular. The waterbenders stay with the waterbenders, the earthbenders stay with the earthbenders, the firebenders stay with the firebenders. And I worry if we get an influx of work only for the waterbenders, the other two groups, well, they ain't gonna be happy with that.
I think you see Sabi kind of like lean back and cross her legs, and look on her face is kind of like, oh, so you're racist.
Hanako listens to all of this very thoughtfully and sort of presses a hand to her chin. Miss Sato,
Yeah?
our work on the train in this region will also open up jobs, will it not?
Oh, certainly. I mean, not only are there gonna need to be more jobs filling the trains, but it's gonna create more traffic in the area. It's gonna create more commerce. So even if there aren't that many people going through the Bin Airport at the moment, more people will be wanting to because there's gonna be a major train station here.
Hanako considers this for another second and says, now I can, if I am being frank, see a world in which this could still cause some tension. For one, the train station will not create as many long-term jobs as a bending power plant. And for two, I can understand why the leader of a region with a lot of intergroup tension may feel nervous about the idea of pitching jobs specifically for one group, even if a portion of more general jobs is going to also open up at the same time. Is there anything future industries could do to bring jobs specifically for fire or earthbenders to this town? Or even pitch jobs as specifically for firebenders or earthbenders?
Well, if there's more power plants you could create, perhaps? Listen, I can make all the deals you want me to, but if you end up creating jobs for one group over another, people in this town ain't gonna be happy. I think you might want to talk directly to some of the community leaders in this town. If you can convince all three nationalities that this is a good idea, maybe I'll rethink it.
Speaking with various members of leadership is in fact what I was sent on this mission for. If you'll give me names and addresses, I'd be happy to speak with whomever you'd like.
Now, a lot of these are informal community leaders. They ain't representatives. I'm the only representative this town needs.
Right.
I think as he's saying this, Sabi kind of like leans over to Asami and whispers like, excuse me a second, I need to get some air. And then stands up and kind of quietly leaves the room and walks out into we're in like a room off of like a hallway or something.
Yeah.
She just like walks out into the hallway.
Anna, actually, quick question. Since Chong remembers the mayor, does Chong remember if the mayor's a bender?
I don't think you know if the mayor's a bender or not. All you can surmise, both from his getup and his classic accent, is that he's from the Earth Kingdom.
Of course. On the subject, I did hear from my friend here, who I believe he already mentioned he's been here with his family before. You've been in charge of this town for a while, right? Or at least your family has, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. I'm the fourth Ton to rule this town. Rule being, a little tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, of course, of course.
I take good care of this place. But nope, my father was the mayor before me, his father before that, and his father before that.
And if you don't mind my asking, can you tell me a little bit about how your father's father's father came into power?
Well, he bought the docks.
Ah, of course. That makes perfect sense. All right then, Mr. Tan. If either you or one of your secretaries could hand me off those names, we will get to work.
Of course. Well, I do hope you help them come to a consensus, because I do quite enjoy this train idea.
If the United Republic did not believe in my ability to do so, they would not have sent me on this mission.
And he hands you 3 names and 3 places you can find the people, and sends you on your way.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll walk outside.
Yeah, Sabi is just out in the hallway, just kind of standing there, leaning up against the wall.
Hanako glances at Sabi standing in the hallway as we exit and says, "You left rather suddenly. Is everything okay?"
I don't know. This place reminds me of some bad parts about Bossing Say, and we've got another pompous blowhard who thinks he's king, just like the last pompous blowhard who thinks he's king.
We're unfortunately not going to be short on those on this journey.
Maybe the next pompous blowhard will be our lucky pompous blowhard.
The next pompous blowhard actually is king, to be fair.
Oh God, you're right. I don't know. I feel like I don't know what to do with myself right now.
Well, are you uncomfortable speaking to him, or are you uncomfortable with the situation as a whole?
I guess both. I mean, he's just another asshole, but I don't know. The last time everything felt so clear cut, and now things feel hazy in a way that's, I don't know, makes me feel uncomfortable.
Hanako looks between Chong and Sabi and thinks for a second. And then she looks at the paper in her hand and she says, "This sort of thing is more in me and Chong's wheelhouse anyway. If you'd like to go take a break, get some air, relax for a bit, I'm not opposed."
Sabi kind of like sighs and sort of looks out the nearest window. I don't know. I want to help you two, but I don't know what I can do to help here.
I think you sense Hanako something about her posture shift, and I think you can tell she becomes a little more guarded. And she says, "Sabi, I think you should go relax for a bit."
Sabi kind of finally like nods, and yeah, even if I wanted to not do this, I feel like the lodestar mechanic would.
Oh, good point. What does that do again?
If you call me out, I cannot resist it.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, cool. I think Sabi like looks uncomfortable and then finally just sort of like nods and looks at you specifically. All right, I can do that. I can go relax. I'll be by the. I'm gonna go walk down by the docks. If you need me, you know how to find me.
Of course, I have the single best tracker possibly in the world at my side. And Hanako claps Chong on the shoulder.
You see, Sabi kind of like smiles at that, and you see her shoulders kind of slump down a little bit. She looks a little less tense, and then she nods and wanders off outside again. So yeah, Sabi's gonna go over to like the dock area and just kind of walk around.
All right. And I think with that, I want to look at my list of names.
All right, so earth, water, or fire?
I mean, I have all 3 of the names in front of me. Can I just have them?
Yeah. The water contact is a woman named Atka.
Okay.
She's in the Water Tribe corridor by her home.
Okay.
The Fire Nation person is a man named Kaiko.
Okay.
He will be in the Fire Nation quarter as well. And the Earth Kingdom person is a man named Wen. He will be by the docks.
Yes, the docks. A very chill place for one of these people to be right now.
I think Chong's gonna look over your shoulder at the names, and I'm gonna say that because of the otter scene, he might recognize Atka from the festival.
Actually, Chong, you recognize Atka very, very faintly, because that name was on the sea prune stall. Atka is the sea prune seller.
I think Chong looks at it without thinking. He just audibly goes, "Ew."
Something I should know about?
Um, uh, Atka, I remember her really faintly. She ran the sea prune stand, one of them, during the festivals my family would perform at. They're an acquired taste.
Oh, yes, I'm very aware. I quite like them. I had a few with Peony and Pearl before everything went down. Very delicious.
Good for you.
Well, here's my thoughts. Atka and her people are most likely to be advantaged by the situation. And as our goal is currently to get the power plant built, it is probably best if we focus on getting Kaiko and Wen to agree before we go to Atka. Best to make sure that they feel like they have some power in the situation. I don't think that there is any particular reason that we should favor one over the other. So, Chong, would you prefer to stay at my side, or do you think you can handle one of these on your own?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know what? I got a lot of charm. I think I can get this Wen guy.
That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say.
Yeah, like I got my Air Nation thing on. I think I can do it. Leave it to me.
All right then. I'll head down to speak to Kaiko in the Fire Nation quarter, and we can meet. We can meet back at the docks, since I believe that's where Sabi said she was going. We can check in on her before we go to visit Atka.
Chong nods. Yeah, sounds like a plan. There's a couple of them, but I think she'll probably be by the biggest one. Let's go to that one. And that'll be like a good place.
Perfect. I'll see you then. And Hanako gets headed out to the Fire Nation quarter.
I think let's start with Hanako.
Okay.
Important question before we get started. What are you wearing today?
I'm still wearing the standard season 2 outfit that we made up. The pants with like the red Fire Nation shirt under the like Water Tribe, I don't know, gi. She does leave her sensor behind on Azula, which I don't know if that's going to be super relevant, but it is the first time that she's actively chosen to go a place without it.
I'm trying to see how Fire Nation flavored do you look right now?
I mean, there's a sense of it for sure, but I think she looks more. I think that there is definitely a way in which she looks a little bit more Water Tribe flavored. But there is a sense that she has like some Fire Nation in her, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's present, but it's not the main thing going on in her outfit.
All right. So you're going to walk into the Fire Nation quarter. You can tell it's the Fire Nation quarter because, once again, there's a lot of red around here.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't notice this before, but you see some lawn signs.
Okay.
Some, like, political lawn signs.
Sure. What do they say?
You look a little closer, and they are a picture of Fire Lord Azumi with an X across her face.
Oh.
And they say, "Not my Fire Lord."
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. I think Hanako gets exactly the vibe, and she ducks into an alley to, like, get the gi off and put it into her bag. And as long as that is chill, she will get out, sort of smooth down her shirt. She looks very sort of generic Fire Nation peasantry now.
Okay.
And then she continues on her way.
All right. And honestly, generic is probably better than noble.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So, you make your way to this address. It seems like it is the address of this guy you are looking for. You knock on the door, and the man that answers it, he's an older looking man, kind of haggard looking.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very much like, he's in like his 80s. He's old.
Okay. Good morning. Are you Kaiko?
Yes, I am.
My name is Hanako. I'm a representative of the United Republic. I hear that you're a respected member of this community. Do you have a moment to talk?
Talk about what?
Future industries in the United Republic have been made aware that the region has been having some economic struggles lately. We're looking to see what we can do to bring new jobs to the area.
He seems quite intrigued at that. He opens the door. He says, "Come on in. Would you like a spot of tea?"
Absolutely.
He, gets out a kettle, starts brewing something that smells quite familiar. Very much a Fire Nation blend of tea, something you remember from your childhood.
Excellent. I sit down with him. I would like to imagine that because the vibe is supposed to be that this area is very like traditional Fire Nation, right? That we like sit down on some cushions on the ground, have like a mat in front of us instead of like a table, right?
Yeah. I wasn't thinking that, but I like that image.
Yeah.
So he places some tea in front of you and says, "Now, tell me about these jobs, will you?"
We're looking to bring a train through the area, as well as install some new power plants, potentially. What I was hoping that you could tell me was what sort of jobs your community members are looking for. Because while future industries would very much like to get this train set up, we simply don't have the information about the community and their skill sets that we'd like. So if there's something else that your community members might be more equipped to do, we'd like to see if there's a potential of us bringing those sort of jobs to this area.
You say you have jobs. Anything. Anything is what we need. There's a severe unemployment issue amongst the Fire Nation community.
I understand. I've been informed, and I hope you'll pardon my speaking frankly here. It does not come from a place of. It doesn't come from a place of me wishing to chastise you, just. I would like to understand the situation as clearly as possible. I'm given to understand that your community has had some conflict with the Water Tribe and Earth Nation communities nearby?
You could put it that way. More like they're getting all the good jobs and we're left in the dust.
I understand.
It's never would have happened back in the good old days.
Of course.
He takes a sip from his tea. You look like a fine Fire Nation lady. I see your colors, repping your nation like a good Fire Nation woman should.
I come from the Fire Nation initially. Though I work for the United Republic now, I have a long history of work in the Fire Nation, of which I am very proud. And there is no sense of lie in Hanako's voice. This is something she means seriously.
I want you to roll to have him not notice your non-Fire Nation features right now.
Sure, yeah.
So, how about...
Oh, do you want me to roll with heritage?
Yes, roll with heritage.
That is an 8.
Okay, he is looking you over. He, of course, has noticed the red. You see him take a little bit of a squint at your hair, but then he kind of relaxes. He's brushing it off as a Republic City style, because you never know what those city slickers are getting up to.
Of course.
And he says to you, You've lived in the Fire Nation. You know what it used to be like around here?
No, but please tell me. I would love to.
Back when I was a kid, everybody had a job. Everybody was set for life. My father used to work at those docks, get all the hours he could ask for. Never wanted a day in his life. Then the war ended, and all of us left fighting like the rest of those scum. We used to be guaranteed prosperity, and now, not only are we treated as an outsider, but we're treated worse than the other outsiders in this community. The Water Tribe get more work than we do. So yes, you could say there's some tensions.
If you don't mind my asking, what sorts of jobs do the people of the Water Tribe get?
Well, Most of the trading has to do with the people they know.
Right.
A lot of bookkeeping, a lot of making deals with other Northern Water Tribe folks.
I see. Of course. I can see how that would be a concern of yours. I would like to make sure that when we go back to the mayor of this town, that I can have a proposition for him that will feature your community specifically.
What do you propose?
I obviously do not have the Future Industries representative with me, and so I cannot make any promises. Right now, the purpose of this meeting is for us to discuss the possibilities and see what would advantage your community the most. However, the options that I would theoretically be interested in posing to her would be... Hanako thinks for a moment. We do have a train that needs to come through the region, and as a result, there will be a large need for metal in the area. It's possible that we could open up some foundries in the area, bring raw materials here instead of pre-prepared ones, work them here, and give your firebenders something that they can do. The train itself should provide plenty of jobs for your non-benders.
And how will you guarantee that mayor, and he puts mayor in scare quotes, won't just give all the jobs to the metal benders in his beloved earthbending population?
I see. So the mayor has a preference for the earthbending population.
Go check and see who's working at the docks.
Right. Hanako tucks that information away for later.
This is a very kind offer, though.
Here is how I can make that promise. You're not the only person I'm going to be visiting today. I do genuinely want to make sure that Hanako pauses for a second before getting this out. My people are well served by this deal.
You see him smile at that.
But I do have a duty to go to representatives from the Water Tribe Quarter and the Earth Tribe Quarter to ensure that they are also amenable to this deal. And as such, the mayor will be providing jobs specifically tailored to them as well, alongside increased jobs for the Fire Nation. If this deal goes well, everyone in the town will have work. And that should leave the jobs that we bring specifically for the Fire Nation to the Fire Nation.
Oh, I do like the prospect of more jobs, but has it occurred to you that the other communities don't need them? Why bolster the Water Tribe? Why bolster the Earth Kingdom when they're fine?
I came to you first. So, no, the thought has not occurred to me because I don't have all of the information in front of me. But, now that you bring up that information, I can take it and I can put it to good use in my future negotiations. There's a reason I wanted to speak with you first.
I want you to roll to plead.
Absolutely. Oh no!
What'd you get?
That's okay. Plead is with harmony. That's a 1, and a 2.
That's real bad.
That's real bad, and there's nothing I can do about it.
He takes a sip from his tea and sets it down and says, "Guess I shouldn't have expected more out of a post-war city slicker like you.
I very much...
Go talk to the others if you wish, but just know, I'm not happy about it."
Of course. Thank you for your time. I very much appreciate the tea. Hanako takes one last long sip and savors it and sets it down. Now, I really must be going. And then she stands and goes to leave.
Chong,
Oh, yes.
so you are going to go towards the docks. Now, Sabi, you're also toward the docks,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I'm going to focus on Chong for now, but Sabi, if you so desire, feel free to join in the conversation if you happen to be strolling by.
Okay. Yeah, I think Sabi's just kind of wandering around aimlessly down by the docks. So, like, I don't know if anything relevant pops up. Let me know.
Chong, you're going to go to what looks like the largest warehouse at the docks. And there is a man sitting at a desk. He's filling out some paperwork. He might be filling out time cards or something. He looks like he is the manager of the docks. And you see on his desk a little plate that says when.
And we're alone?
There are other people around. There's people, putting things on pallets. Seems like a lot of the pallets in the warehouse are made of earth, and earthbenders are moving them back and forth, and that's how they're getting them onto boats and off of boats.
Gotcha. So it's one of those offices where it's kind of an office in the middle of the action?
Yeah, it's like a desk that's just in the warehouse. It's not really separated from anything.
Got you. Oh yeah, now I'm picturing it in my head. So what I'm thinking is I've decided that Chong would approach this with brazen confidence and naivety. Because Chong, I've realized, has not dealt with anything political yet, aside from getting the day of that event moved a day over in season 1. And even then, he played the Airbender card. I think from last episode, he knows the Airbender card isn't exactly always gonna work in these places, like in terms of being a peace officer. So I think he's going to. So he's like, well, I'm gonna try with whatever I got. So I think what Chong does is like when Chong gets to the docks, he looks around, and he finds the warehouse, and he finds him, and he just walks up to him. And he puts his hand out to Wen at the desk, who probably hasn't even looked up and got, and is going, "Hi, I'm Chong."
Excuse me?
Chong still has his hand out and is smiling very brightly. And he goes, "I'm Chong Jr. I'm an Air Nation representative. How are you today?"
Sir, how did you get in here?
"Oh, the door?"
He looks at the door, which is wide open, but people don't usually wander off the street into the warehouses. So he looks back and forth a couple times and says, "How can I help you?"
"Oh, I can think of a couple of things, actually. Can I take a seat?"
"I guess you're going to anyway."
Chong's already sitting. "Okay, I'm getting the feeling I should give some background.
Yes.
So, I came here on a train with a bunch of future industry representatives from Republic City, and I'm here as and he gestures to his outfit, like an Air Nation representative, peace officer, thingamajig. And what we're trying to do is basically increase connectivity everywhere, make new train stations, lay down new lines, and go to towns and villages like this one and help help you guys build facilities where you can generate your own energy and whatnot. So you can help be self-sufficient, bring modernness and whatnot. And so
You see, when nodding his head, a train certainly couldn't hurt the area.
exactly. And it could produce more trade, it'll bring more people in. It overall will, and he chunk gestures to the warehouse. It will certainly boost you guys because more people will know about you. You probably don't remember, but before I became Air Nation, my family and I would perform here, like at your festivals, like once or twice.
He sort of spaces out and says, "I have never seen you in my life before."
I mean, I had hair, and
"I don't think that would make a difference. I don't think I could forget this."
Chong shrugs and goes, when people see my dad, they're like, "Oh, I remember you, Chongs." He's Chong Senior. But anywho's, that brings me to the next part. So, because of your location and natural resources and whatnot, you guys are a little tricky to get electricity for, like, generation and whatnot. Like a lot of the places we've been seeing, windmills and other little things like that. So, for the power plant portion, to generate the electricity and bring lots of light and good stuff for you guys here, Future Industries wants to propose making a water power plant. And because it'd be a water power plant, would need water benders. And in talking with your mayor and seeing how much he cares about your group with the earthbenders and the firebenders and the waterbenders all being treated equally and all having good opportunities to profit from this great advancement, I wanted to talk with you and kind of do a vibe check and also see if there's. I think Chong pauses for a moment, tries to think how Hanako would talk for a moment. Avenues for stymieing. I don't even know what stymieing means. For creating opportunities for you two. And I think Chong ends it with like two finger guns at him.
Wen looks a little puzzled the entire time you're talking, trying to just sort of put together the pieces of what exactly you're saying. But his eyes narrow a little bit when you said treating everyone equally. And you see, after you say that, he started to mull something over in his mind, and he says, he didn't say anything about his dock jobs, though, did he?
What do you mean? Like in general? Or.
I mean, does treating his constituents equally mean that we're going to have to share the dock jobs?
Chong says, he, didn't mention that actually. He just mentioned that he owned the docks, but aside from that, he didn't talk about taking jobs away from people. Our conversation was more about how we can create jobs that everyone can have access to. I mean, yeah, some of them will be type specific, but we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to get a good job.
Well, don't love that he's making jobs that my people and my family and all the people that he promised to protect can't actually have access to, but, well, you did mention that a train would create more jobs, and as long as I get to keep my job, and as long as all of my workers, all the people who I manage get to keep their jobs, we should be okay.
Chong smiles big, realizing, holy cow, he did the thing!
Now, if he comes back and says anything about getting rid of these jobs here, firing anybody, he's gonna have some complaints on his hands from HR. He bends in a little bit, little smirk on his face. I'm HR.
I thought your name was Wen.
His eyes go unfocused again. He's trying to figure out if you're an idiot or if this is a bit, and he can't figure it out.
Moment of Balance will return after these messages.
Do you want to take in the rich history and culture of one of the oldest, most prosperous cities in the world? Ba Sing Se, the capital of the Earth Kingdom, is just a train ride away on the new Future Industries Electric Express. Ba Sing Se has elegant museums, vast libraries, and theaters that shame even the most opulent offerings of Zaofu or Republic City. And when you're done with the day's activities, why not take in some of the famous local cuisine in the Upper Ring, home of the world-famous Jasmine Dragon's very first location? If you're looking for something for the whole family, the Middle Ring has plenty of affordable activities that everyone can enjoy. Take the little ones to see the Ba Sing Se Museum of the Earth, home of the second largest geode in the world. Take a stroll in the Royal Public Gardens and breathe in that fresh air. Enjoy a pro bending match in the Earth Kingdom's most famous arena. Whatever you want, whatever you need, Ba Sing Se has it. Brought to you by the Ba Sing Se Tourism Bureau.
Oh, Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Baragon Doubletail, God of Time, Heroes, Interplanar Champion, you know the rest. You're just in time to hear about what's been happening in the new campaign of Bard Rock Cafe. 1,000 years after the end of Campaign 1, a new queen is being crowned in the capital city of Clearwater. When a group of assassins crash the coronation, a crew of unlikely heroes save her life and are tasked with investigating what happened. Can a low-ranking palace guard, the royal playwright, a nervous cleric, and the hillbilly groundskeeper find out who these mysterious dream police are and stop them? Find out in the second campaign of Bard Rock Cafe.
Bard Rock Cafe Campaign 2 is available wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Soma, I'm here. I've got snacks. Oh, stop it, Zopa.
Chong, you're here. Why is Zopa acting all crazy?
She just wants what's in the bag, which she can't have because fudge is not for cabins.
Ooh, fudge.
Yeah, I got us some fudge from Cali Sweets, and I got it for a great discount too. 10% off with coupon code BardRockCafe.
I was gonna say, I didn't know you had money for snacks.
Hey, I make enough money busking. Zopa helps me bring in a lot when she's not trying to poison herself with my snacks.
Okay, if Zopa wants it so bad, it's gotta be good. Let me try some. Ooh, that's good. What is this?
It's a mint chocolate chip fudge. They have all sorts of crazy flavors too. Snickerdoodle, cotton candy, caramel apple, and of course your classic chocolate. And if you're sick of fudge, they have fancy popcorn too.
Popcorn, eh? Is this gonna be your excuse to take me to a mover?
You want to go see a mover?
Well, if you're asking.
Oh, I wasn't, but that sounds fun. Just a couple of friends out to the movers.
Right. Give me some more of that fudge.
Of course! Available at calisweets.com/bardrockcafe.
What?
Nothing!
And now, back to Moment of Balance.
Sabi, where are you right now?
Yeah, I think so. Sabi is like taken Hanako's "hey, you should maybe take a break" advice to heart, and she's just kind of started like walking down along the docks sort of aimlessly. So I guess like, what's there? What am I seeing?
Well, you've been seeing a bunch of boats, seeing some big old ships with big old pallets full of stuff, mostly imports from the Northern Water Tribe, also some imports from just other ports around the Earth Kingdom. Yeah, mostly Water Tribe imports. And you've been walking along, you've been seeing some warehouses, and you see a large warehouse with an open door, and you hear a very familiar voice inside.
Is it Chong?
It's Chong. Would you like to see what Chong is up to?
I think I'd like to see what Chong's up to, but like I think Sabi's trying to kind of not step on Chong and Hanako's toes, so like do it in a way that's not like super obvious.
So, Sabi, let's say you're just sort of at the mouth of the warehouse, listening in.
Yeah.
Chong is not particularly quiet. And while the guy Chong is talking to isn't particularly loud, you can still make out what's going on. And you definitely, let's say you come in at the point of the conversation where he's saying, you know, ensuring that the earthbenders keep their jobs. So yeah, you hear that much. You hear the end of the conversation. You hear Chong be an idiot. You want to do something with that?
I think I want to wait till Chong comes out of the factory or whatever. So to just like lean up against the building and wait for him to come out.
Chong, do you have any more conversation you want to have with this guy?
No, I think upon the HR comment, Chong will have, said a very Chong goodbye and gone on his way, probably off to go to the big dock and tell Hanako that he accomplished his goal.
All right, you're going to step out of the warehouse and you're going to run right into Sabi. And I think I want you to run into Sabi. Like, you're like zipping around the corner, not thinking about where you're going, and you just smack right into her.
I like the idea that Chong is so giddy at this point that his airbending's coming out a little bit, and he's got like little tufts of like air coming up from behind his heels because he's like starting to airbend a little bit, is even making him go a little faster. So yeah, I think Chong just body checks Sabi on accident.
I want to, and I fully expect you to make me roll for this. I want to try to like kind of pivot and just like plant Chong, not throw him, but just kind of like shift him and like put him down.
Yeah,
Like,
roll
we-
for something.
Rely on skills and training.
Yeah.
That's with focus, right?
Yeah.
That is a 9.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, so you, Chong, as you come out and like start to barrel into Sabi, she kind of like shifts her weight a little bit awkwardly and kind of like pivots you over and just like plants you down.
I think Chong is like is a little off balance, but in a very Chong way, like snaps back very quickly.
So how'd it go?
Whoa, Sabi, that was actually kind of cool. Man, I forget how good your reflexes are sometimes. It's like whoa. Yeah, that went. I think Chong make sure like you guys are stepping away enough where he won't be heard from the door. He goes, that went like super good. I think he totally digged me, and he says that as long as the mayor won't cut out jobs at the dock, he's totally cool with the train and the power plant being built and everything.
Did the mayor promise that at any point? I didn't hear the end of your conversation.
The mayor didn't mention anything about dock jobs, and the mayor owns the docks. I don't see why the power plant and the train coming in would affect the dock jobs. I mean, Chong scratches his head for a moment. Like, I told him the truth. I said the mayor didn't mention anything about it, so it's not like I, lied to him or anything. I told them, like, the possibilities of it, and I told them that at least us, future industries, have no intention of messing with his business, We're trying to create equal opportunities for everyone.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about this place just rubs me the wrong way ever since we've gotten here. I think it reminds me of home too much.
And I think Chong looks around for a moment and goes, I guess. I mean, this place is multicultural, but in my visits to Ba Sing Se, it wasn't like so divided.
Sabi kind of like glances at Chong with like a "what the fuck are you talking about" look. What? You didn't spend a lot of time there, did you? Or what ring did you actually go to when you went to Ba Sing Se anyway?
Chong shrugs. He's like, honestly, we were only there for the festival, so we really only, went down the roads and at the stages and...
Ba Sing Se, for the longest time, had literal walls between the groups of people in the different rings. It's the same attitude as here, that you keep to your own people and you can't cross over and you can't... You see Sabi kind of like look around the dock and just sort of trail off. I don't know, I guess I didn't think I'd find so many people so eager to recreate that in miniature here.
I think Chong pauses for a long moment. When I was a non-bender, it was kind of hard for me to, aside from culture and whatnot, to figure out why all the bending people seem to get on each other's jocks all the time. And as an airbender, I kind of get it a bit more now, but Chong shrugs again. I don't know, I didn't grow up with it. And I've been to so many places where there was tensions like this, and so many places where there wasn't, and so many places where I didn't notice it because I was either focused on the music or looking at the other non-benders.
You see Sabi, like, a couple emotions run over her face. Like, at first you think that she's gonna snap at you, and then you see her expression kind of soften. I mean, I didn't grow up as a bender either, but what I did grow up as is poor. And there's so many of these people that had the same thing in common, and that same thing is being ground under the boot of any little petty dictator that wants to run the town like a king. And I don't know. More and more lately, I wish that I could do something about it. And I don't know what to do because it feels like the problem is so big and so hard to look at that I can't do anything.
I think Chong might hazard a touching your shoulder.
Sabi just kind of like stands there. She doesn't shrug you off, which is what you would have expected her to do, but she doesn't.
I think Chong like lets it sit there for a moment, shocked that he got that far. And he goes, "When I was a kid, I thought music was the answer to everything. You know, it brought so many people together and everyone seemed happy. It's still one of the reasons I love it today. But after a show, everything goes back to what it is. But I like to think that for some people, it made a difference. It sounds like you're gonna drive yourself crazy by trying to change all these things you can't control. I hate to say choose your battles, but focus on what you can control and bring the little happinesses that you can."
I think this might count as Chong trying to guide and comfort me.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
In which case, Chong should roll with harmony.
Oh, thank goodness does Chong have a lot of harmony? Let's check. Yes, Chong has +2 harmony. Let's go. You're gonna feel so harmonized. Ooh, you are not. It's 6 + 2 is an 8.
So I get to choose. Either they embrace your guidance and comfort, they may clear a condition or two fatigue, and you may ask one question they must answer honestly. Or I shut you down, they inflict a condition on you, and you shift their balance and response. I think I'm going to clear the insecure condition. So you see Sabi like tense up again, and then she kind of like relaxes again and sort of like shrugs her shoulder. You're right. I keep thinking about those people that you fought on Kyoshi Island, and Hanako said a little while ago that one of them reminded her of me, and I keep thinking about that because I feel like part of me understands why they do what they do. I understand wanting to burn all of this to the ground and just start over. But then I keep thinking about all the people that would get caught by that, and I keep thinking about all the people that I care about, and I don't know what to do. I just feel trapped by it all. And all I can do is just keep moving forward, because I've never known how to do anything else. But you're right.
I think Chong pauses for a long moment. He says, "We should head back to the long dock, like the really big one, and meet up with Hanako there to see how she did. But before we get going, I have a question that you don't need to answer now, but might be something that might help you a little bit. Because I found that that's been a good question for me when I wonder what I'm doing with my life."
You see Sabi tense up again and then relax. Okay, you didn't need to sit here and listen to me talk about my feelings for 10 minutes. I feel like I owe you one answer.
Chong smiles really big, being like, "Dude, I love talking, and I like talking about anything under the sun. I'm always here to talk about feelings or jokes or food, which, by the way, sounds pretty good right now. But the question I want to ask is, what do you want from life?"
You see Sabi like pause for a second, and like this genuinely like puzzled look comes over her face. Like she's never been asked this question before. Chong, I don't know how to answer that. If you'd asked me that question 2 months ago, I would have told you that the only thing I wanted was to survive and just keep going. And now I don't know. So much has happened to us, and I've I work for Future Industries. I started seeing the woman I was working with. I you see her kind of hitch up for a second. I don't know how to feel about the kind of person I am sometimes, and I don't know what place I have in this world. And right now I feel like I just need something to do. I promised Ba Mei that I would look for her brother in Ba Sing Se. And right now, that's about as far ahead as I feel like I can look.
Like I said, man, it's not something you need to answer right away, though I think what you just said kind of answers it. And it's okay. I just think that might be why you feel so cornered. You you need something to ground you, something maybe not something to live for, but I don't know, man. Like life is always changing, but when this is all over with the train thing and whatnot, you might want to think about what you want your life to be and not what it has to be, you know?
Yeah, I guess I haven't really had a lot of chances to make that decision before now.
Hey, that's okay. You have it now. And plus, you got Hanako, you got me, we got Zopa, which I gotta tell you, I bet she's having a blast with the family right now. You should have seen Dorji's eyes when she saw her.
You see Sabi smiling at this, like kind of trying to hide it, but she's clearly enjoying this.
Now, come on, let's light up. Let's go meet up with Hanako and start the next chapter of whatever we're doing.
And with that, you guys see Hanako approaching from the other side of the docks.
Oh my gosh, talk about serendipity! Hey, Hanako! And Chong's waving at you with both hands.
Chong, hello. Yes, Hanako looks like she's been snapped out of some thought process that was going on in her head. But she sees the two of you and quickly starts walking up in your direction.
You see Sabi kind of like smile and nod at you as you're coming up.
Hanako gives you a little nod in return. How did everything go with Wen?
Oh my gosh, it went like so good. I was just telling Sabi how much that guy digged me. He is cool with everything we have planned so far. As long as we don't mess with the dock jobs, happy as a clam. And the mayor guy didn't mention anything about doing anything with the docks with this, so
And Future Industries, frankly, has no interest in messing with the docks. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. At least one of these can be simple.
How did things go with the Fire Nation?
Fairly well. I'm not sure he's the biggest fan of me, but as long as we can bring something into the town dedicated specifically to the Fire Nation citizens, then he's content to support whatever we'd like to do. I frankly don't think he'll be happy when it's announced that the power plant jobs are going to specifically the Water Tribe, regardless of what happens. But I think as long as we can promise jobs for his people as well, it will work out.
You see Sabi kind of like looks sort of surprised that all of this is like coming together. I guess that sounds promising.
The matter will simply come down to whether or not we can get everybody involved in on a job that can be pitched specifically to firebenders. I casually floated the idea of perhaps bringing some foundries into the area to produce the railroad construction materials, but that's not a sustainable plan. But it was one he seemed satisfied with, which would get our job done, which is all that I care about.
Maybe they'll be happy with the work while it lasts, and I'm sure they can use a foundry for something else.
To be frank, the whole district reminded me of home in a very bad way. I wouldn't be unhappy if they ended up unhappy at the end of this.
Yeah, this whole place kind of reminds me of a home in a very unpleasant way too. You see Sabi kind of trail off and not finish her sentence.
Yeah, Hanako Hanako looks for a second like she's going to crack a joke again, and then she, like, kind of retreats back inward and hushes up and is like, yes, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. It's not like I'm planning to move here. I'm just here to help.
And with any luck, we'll be out of the town in no time.
Yeah, all we gotta do is talk to that, the water tribe lady. Sea prince lady.
Atka. Hanako actually, she says that, and then she, like, her eyes go wide, and she looks around to make sure that nobody nearby heard, and then she makes a motion for Chong to quiet the fuck down. Yes.
I think Chong sees that and, like, puts both his hands over his mouth.
Yes. Atka. We should go out of the docks before we discuss this further.
Ooh, yeah. That's I think Chong's a little embarrassed. He's like, yeah, that's that sounds good. Let's do that.
Sabi, is everything going all right? Do you need anything?
I'm okay. I haven't shot anyone yet, and I've been keeping my head down.
That's not...
I was joking. I'm fine.
Okay. Good.
I just don't like this place, but I'm okay.
Right. Yes. Glad to hear it on all counts, I suppose. Anyway, me and Chong are going to go speak with Atka, I believe. You're welcome to do as you like, I suppose. You can keep relaxing, or you can come along, or whatever you'd like.
I'll come with you too. I'll stay out of your way, but I think I've had enough time for myself for now.
Right. Okay then. Let's get this out of the way, and let's get out of this awful town. And then Hanako starts walking.
Yes, it's so cold.
Chong, you're an airbender. You can create your own heat.
Chong forgot.
All right, so the three of you, you're gonna saunter over to the waterbending quarter.
Hanako grows a small little flame in the palm of her hand and holds it over for Chong to warm his hands by.
Chong is very happily toasting his hands on the fire.
So you head over to the Water Tribe quarter, and you go up to Atka's address. You knock on the door, and a middle-aged woman opens the door, and you can smell a very distinctive oceany odor coming from her house. Hello, can I help you?
Miss Atka, yes. We are representatives from, and Hanako goes down the line, the United Republic, Future Industries, and the Air Nation.
Hi, I'm Chong!
Unlike Wen, who was very, very overwhelmed, Atka seems to be charmed by you, and she takes your hand gently and says, happy to meet you. I haven't actually met an airbender in person before.
Oh, I'm happy to be the first. This actually might not be the first time we met. My family and I, the Chongs, before I was Air Nation, we actually performed at one or two of your water festivals here.
Her eyebrow quirks a little, and she says, What did you play?
Oh, why, only our greatest hits! And of course some good old, Northern Water Tribe folk songs here or there. The one you might know is, and Chong takes out his dizzy flute, and he starts playing the tune to Secret Tunnel.
Her eyes widen a little, and she says, I remember this. You're part of that enormous musical family, right?
Chong puts his flute down. Yeah, and there's even more of us now. Isn't it great?
What a bizarre person to land on my doorstep. Sorry to interrupt you, but why are the three of you here?
Hanako clears her throat and steps forward again and says, yes. The three of us are here to discuss a joint initiative to build a train line throughout the Earth Kingdom. And after discussions with your mayor, it came to our attention that there was some tension in the town. We've come to discuss the plan with you to make sure that we'll have you and your community's support.
She steps aside and says, come on in. There certainly is tension around here. Feel free to take a seat. Do you three like sea prunes?
I've never had them before.
Oh, you'll adore them.
She doesn't wait for your response, Chong. She pulls out 3 bowls and dishes out 3 bowls of sea prunes and lays them out in front of you 3.
What do they taste like?
Salty. I imagine they're like, you know that seaweed that's like a tube?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I imagine they're kind of like that, where they're like hollow, and like if they weren't cooked and stewed down, they would be like crunchy and buoyant, but because they're stewed down, they're like softened.
I'm just imagining like warm prune juice with like sea salt, with like a fuck ton of sea salt and a bunch of seasoning.
Do not imagine them to be sweet.
Here's what I'm gonna do as Sabi. Sabi is going to like take a bite of this, and I'm going to roll with restraint.
Do it.
That's a 2. Sabi like takes a bite of this and kind of like, you see her sort of like choke and gag on it, and then like slowly swallow it and set the bowl down.
Well, it can't be helped. More for me, I suppose. And Hanako takes your bowl and puts it in front of her. So now she has 2 bowls in front of her. And she will make it through both of them by the end of this conversation.
Atka sort of shakes her head, but like in a friendly way. They can be an acquired taste.
I'm from the Earth Kingdom, ma'am. We like our food bland and not as salty.
Oh no, I am aware of what the people around here prefer.
Not from around here. Don't worry about that.
Chong this whole time is just staring helplessly at this bowl of sea prunes. He knows he can't give it to Hanako now because Hanako can't eat 3 bowls of sea prunes. Chong, I think, is like, he can't give her the bowl without trying some. So I think Chong is like just sitting there staring at it, dreading the taste, but it hasn't done it yet.
So she's ignoring that you haven't eaten your sea prunes yet because Atka wants to discuss what's going on. So she sits down with her own bowl of sea prunes and says, so what is this about a train and needing my approval of all people?
Of course. So, would you like to start with the part where I ask you a lot of questions, or would you like to start with the part where I give you good news?
Let's start with the good news. I could use some good news.
All right, then. The good news is, in addition to the train, Future Industries would like to bring a power plant into the area. A power plant which would utilize ocean currents and water bending in order to generate energy. This would bring an influx of jobs to your community.
Now that is certainly some good news. Oh, we have such an unemployment problem right now. I don't know if you've seen the demographics down at the docks, but very few of us get employed. This is going to be a huge help. I cannot thank you enough.
Of course. Now, in order to make sure that this plan goes through, which I'm certain I can count on your support for, you have to understand the mayor is very concerned about the tension going on in the area. And as a result, we need to be sure that we can come to him and make sure that we can tell him that every single one of his citizens will agree to this idea and think it's best for the town. I've been in communication with some of the other community leaders in the area, and we've been workshopping some ideas to help make them happy. I would like to know your perspective on everything that's been happening in the area recently, so that we can make sure that while we're creating these plans, we have a cohesive view of the situation that takes your perspective into account.
Well, what would you like to know?
I'm sure that my airbender companion here who spoke to Wen at the docks can ask questions about any issues you may have with the Earth Kingdom, but I would like to know how you feel about your relationship with the Fire Nation Quarter.
She takes a big sigh and runs her hand through her hair and says, I do not understand why they won't leave us alone. We are in just as dire straits as they are.
I see.
Did you speak with Kaiko?
Unfortunately, yes.
That man, he is one of the last remaining people who has any memory of the 100-Year War, and he will not let anyone forget it. He has rallied nearly the entire neighborhood behind him to believe that life was better back then. He's under the impression that we're just rolling in it over here, that we have all of these fruitful deals with our family back in the Northern Water Tribe. There are maybe 3 families who are brokering deals back home. The rest of us are just as unemployed as they are.
I see.
You see, as you're talking, Sabi kind of like leans forward and looks at Atka. Didn't the Northern Water Tribe just get through a civil war?
Yes, they did. If you've wondered why commerce has slowed in these docks, it's because we're kind of struggling. But of course, all Mayor needs a ton of money, cares about, is keeping his profits high, so he's doing what any good business owner would do. Cuts hours, cuts jobs where he must, and guess where he's cutting them from?
Of course. Well then, I think, unless Chong.
I think Chong this time has been half listening, half time dreading this soup.
I wasn't there when you spoke to Wen at the docks. The Earth Kingdom quarters' stake in this is primarily just that they get to keep their jobs at the docks. Correct? That's what you led me to believe.
Yeah, totally. No, Wen was who's a cool guy, may I add. Wen was very much like, hey, you guys can do your train station, you can do your power plant, as long as dock jobs aren't taken away from him and his workers. He's okay with what everyone else does.
All right then. It seems like then the only thing that we will need to report back to Miss Sato and inform her of is that we need to make a plan to get the Fire Nation community in this town their own group of jobs that will be specific to their own community. And as long as we can figure out how to do that, I think that we can get the Fire Nation quarter off of your back, Atka, and we can bring your community a whole slew of new power plant jobs.
Are you... You said you spoke to Kaiko about this plan.
With some parts left out. I got the sense of what kind of person he was fairly quickly. I did not tell him that the power plant jobs would be going to the Water Tribe quarter specifically, but I also did not discuss with him the possibility that power plant jobs would be for the Fire Nation quarter.
I really worry about what's going to happen when he and the others find out that there are going to be a set of high-paying jobs. I'm assuming this is pretty high-paying because Future Industries is involved. Is that right? Please? We need the money.
I have not spoken with Miss Sato in length about what the exact prices of employment would be for all of these jobs. I can bring that information back to you at a later date. But what I can say for certain is that the entire point of this initiative is to bring economic prosperity to various places throughout the Earth Kingdom, yours included. I'm certain that these jobs will be at an adequate price point for the work done.
I will take your word for that, but if he and the others, the other people who listen to him at least, find out that there are a large number of high-paying jobs being given specifically to waterbenders, and only waterbenders, I can't guarantee we'll be safe. I don't trust that he's not going to do something to us.
As I mentioned before, I know his type, and so I understand your fears. That is why I would like to extend this conversation to Miss Sato, and see what we can figure out in terms of bringing an additional group of jobs to this city. One that will pay equally well and be specifically for the Fire Nation quarter.
He doesn't want equally, though. That's what worries me. He doesn't want us to be equally uplifted to him. He wants to be better. He wants the good old days where he could kick a waterbender to the ground and spit on us, and that was celebrated as a war hero's effort.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Are the other firebenders in the village, like, cool with him?
Enough of them are. Not everyone is, but enough of them are.
Hanako sighs, and I think, if not Chong, at least Sabi can tell that this is quickly becoming a very uncomfortable conversation for her.
Yeah. You see Sabi kind of lean in and look at Atka. The Fire Nation community here, they listen to this Kaiko guy, right?
Yes.
And he's old school Fire Nation, right?
Extremely old school, to the point where he doesn't even listen to the current Fire Lord.
Mm-hmm. You see Sabi kind of like get a thoughtful look in her eyes and sit back.
I think Hanako becomes even more uncomfortable. I thank you, Miss Atka, for this meeting. I will keep in touch with you on this matter, which I might add is a privilege that I have not granted to Kaiko. I can't speak for when. I didn't do that negotiation. But I think that at this point we need to go speak with Miss Sato and see what we can do. The last thing that I will say before we leave is that this would not be the first town that we have offered to provide protection for, if it might need to come to that.
I trust your talks with Miss Sato will be fruitful. And she walks over to Chong, takes the bowl of sea prunes, and says, "It's okay, I remember you weren't a fan."
Chong looks like he's about to have tears in his eyes. Thank you!
I think Sabi is going to try one more sea prune, and I'm going to roll with restraint again. Oh my god.
What?
I got an 8 minus 3. That's still a 5.
Yep.
Sabi like takes a bite and kind of like she doesn't spit it out, and she kind of screws up her face and like takes a deep breath. Yeah, I don't think I could get used to this.
Hanako takes a deep breath and then cracks a smile and says, "We'll find your weird food one of these days."
As we're like heading out, I think Sabi is gonna like sort of pull on Hanako's arm and, hey, can we talk just real quick, you and I?
Hanako looks around, says, "I was, funnily enough, going to ask you something similar when we got back to the train."
Okay, if this is like a train conversation, we can do it in the train.
It may be.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it can wait till we get back. Okay, so I guess we're doing this conversation before we talk to Asami.
Maybe Chong's like, hey guys, can we take like a half-hour nap before we talk to Asami?
That works perfectly fine for us, I think.
Yeah, sure. Go knock yourself out.
Thanks, guys!
Literally, I guess.
He opens the car door and Zopa gives a happy and Chong closes the door.
And we'll go into, I guess, have we just defaulted to Hanako's room? Is that just the shared room?
It's Hanako. Yeah, I think Sabi's compartment on the train is like storage at this point.
Excellent. All right. You first.
No, you first. I feel like what I'm gonna say is gonna set a weird tone if I lead with it.
I'm certain mine will as well.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you first.
All right. What happened with Halen?
We found him out by the barn, and when the townspeople took him into custody, he wasn't saying anything. And it was pretty clear that if he kept not saying anything, they were going to kill him. So I tried to put some pressure on him to talk, and he kept stonewalling, so you see her kind of grimace. I hit him in the face to get him to start talking to us.
Hanako nods.
Not my...
And that bruise came from your fist?
No, it was the butt of my gun.
Right. Okay. Are you... Hanako takes a breath. Look, I don't know... I don't want this to be a reprimand. It's not. But I don't know how to have this sort of conversation. Are you happy with that decision?
You see Sabi kind of like turn off to the side and kind of screw up her mouth. I don't know how to answer that. I didn't like doing it, and I wish that there'd been some better way to do it, but also part of me feels like there wasn't.
Look, you know me. I am not the type to argue with results. But Hanako sits back and she sort of looks up at the ceiling. When I think of you, it's like there are two people. There's the person that you are now, and there is the person that you're moving towards becoming. And the person that I see when I think of the person you're moving towards becoming, I don't know. It's not... Sometimes, I think that woman is a version of yourself that you'll one day be able to say you're very happy to be. But then, the woman you are comes back. And this is where I want to roll to call you out.
So, you don't need to roll to call me out.
Okay, fair enough.
If your lodestar calls you out, you cannot resist it.
Yeah. You cannot resist. Treat your NPC lodestar calling you out as if you rolled a 10. PC lodestar calling you out as if you rolled a 10 plus. You, Hanako. So what are the mechanics for that?
On a hit, they are called to act as you say. They must either do it or mark a condition. So I guess that the thing that I'm asking you to do here specifically is just like consider whether that sort of action is something you even want to keep doing.
Yeah.
I guess what a better way of putting it is the thing I'm asking you to do is don't do shit like that anymore.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you resist your wife?
No, this is like, because I can take the option to take a condition. I think I'm gonna roll with restraint again.
Sure.
Which is a -3, by the way. Oh wow, that's bad. That's a 3. That's a 6 minus 3. That's a 3. I'm gonna take the guilty condition. You see Sabi, you could see there's like a conflict going on behind her eyes, and then like she kind of straightens her back and looks at you. Hanako, before I met you, and I don't think I cared about anyone as much as I care about you. And I love you. But you're talking about the woman that I am, and I don't know if that's something I can just shrug off right now. I'm trying to do something right for once. But you see her shoulders slump. You know who I am better than anyone. I don't know how to put it without it sounding ridiculous. I don't want to hurt people, but sometimes it feels like people need to be hurt.
Hanako listens to all of this very carefully. I understand. And just to be very clear with you, I love the woman that you are.
You see Sabi smile. When we talked in the Jasmine Dragon after I went over to work for Varric. After that, I made a decision that I wasn't going to lie to you about who I am or what I'm doing, even if that doesn't make me look like a good person. Because I think that you deserve to know who I am, and what you do with that is always your decision.
Sabi, I'm not bringing this up because I care about whether or not you're a good person. I think that at this point I do not have the capability to care whether or not you or I or even Chong are good people. That would be hypocritical. But I bring this up because I think the woman that you're moving towards becoming is a happier version of yourself. And I care about you, and I want to see that happen. And if you can't become that woman now, that's okay. I'm not going to make you. But I think you should look for a day when you can become her.
I think you see Sabi like turn away, and you see her tearing up a little bit. I'm not used to being this honest with anyone. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm not either.
Yeah.
Okay. It's your turn now.
This is going to be such a thing to lead off of what you telling me. You talked to that Fire Nation guy personally, right?
I did.
How likely do you think it is that he's going to just let the Water Nation have what they want?
He's my mother.
You see Sabi kind of like sit back and raise her eyebrows. I have an out of the box suggestion that I don't think, to be clear, we should do unless we absolutely need to. But in the time we've been together, I think I've gotten some glimpses of Fire Nation culture that suggest it might work.
I'm listening.
Feel free to shut me down on this, because this is
Right, of course.
setting the tone here. He's like old school Fire Nation, right? Like Fire Lord, what's his face? Old school, right?
I would say he goes right past Ozai back to Sozin.
Wow, okay. I wish I knew enough about Fire Nation history for that to be fully meaningful, but I think I get the vibe. If he's not willing to... Okay, so you see Sabi kind of like laughing, as if the ridiculousness of what she's about to suggest is sort of dawning on her. So the ritual of the Agni Kai, is that like a binding kind of thing?
Hanako is silent for a long moment. It is. Though, it is popular among nobility, and he is not, as far as I can tell, a member of nobility, but...
Does he wish he was?
I think he does.
Do you have to be a firebender to participate in that? You see Sabi smiling.
Hanako says, okay, so, yes, it is in fact a requirement.
I was worried you'd say that.
Hanako's wheels are turning. I would happily step forward and take that place, though. But, I don't know, what are you thinking? You want what? So you want to challenge him to an Agni Kai?
I want to challenge the old racist to an Agni Kai.
You would want to do that. That is a thing you would want to do. Oh, of course you want to do that.
Would he be so incensed at the idea of a non-firebender doing this that he would have to rise to this challenge? You spent a long time immersed in this kind of bullshit.
You would have to really work him up, but I think you could get him there. The problem is, if you do get him there, I don't know if he would feel the need to abide by the outcome, because you would not be beating him with fire, the only weapon allowed within an Agni Kai.
I suppose the whole thing is kind of premised on him actually, like, agreeing to the terms of this, huh?
It is. The Agni Kai doesn't really mean anything if there is not a group of people watching who can see the outcome and will socially enforce it, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. God, I wonder if his whole community is as bigoted as he is.
They certainly are. I will say, he has the community in his grasp. It's a little... As somebody who once worked to spread this ideology, it is unsettling to see its effects from this side on, frankly, a wider scale than my mother was ever able to spread it elsewhere.
Okay, so we can't force his hand on a technicality of some Fire Nation tradition, but, like, what do you do? What do you do with this kind of person? How do you get him to shut up and leave the waterbenders alone?
With my mother, the solution was to get her exiled, though that was a happy accident. We could try to remove him from his position of power within the community.
I don't think we know enough about this place to do that.
No.
The last town they were already ready to boil over the edge. They just wanted their governor out. That was easy compared to this. Here, it seems like everybody loves the mayor except for the Water Tribe people that are getting screwed by him.
Can I say something that will completely negate any right that I have to have said everything that I said earlier to you?
Sure. I'm very curious what that could possibly be now.
We can just give a simple temporary fix and leave. Our job is to get this deal to go through. And if we can convince Asami to bring in, I don't know, some forges, some coal power plants, something to the town that will give them temporary work, I think that will appease them for a time. We could even ask to ensure that those jobs pay a bit more, which will go even further towards keeping them settled, at least until the jobs dry up. And then our work here will be done, and it won't be our problem.
You see Sabi, like, kind of mull this over, and then she looks like she's kind of had a realization about the situation. You know what? You're absolutely right. We have other things that we have to do. I have other things that I promised I would do. We don't have to fix every small piece of this perfectly. You're right. We just have to get them to accept the basic terms of the deal, and then future industries and their community and people that know more about this than I do can hash out the details and figure it out.
We did just leave 2 people to die in the last town. It's not like we're opposed to leaving the consequences of our actions for others to deal with.
You see Sabi kind of, like, shift at that and look away for a second. Yeah, I don't think it's realistic for us to be responsible for everything.
I think we should bring the situation up to Miss Sato, make sure she is aware of it, and that future industries can do with that information what they will.
Okay, so neither of us is going to duel the old racist.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't love to, but we don't have to.
There'll be another one, I'm sure.
There's always old fools to challenge to Agni Kais.
Around this time, once you're finishing up your conversation, you hear a knock on your door.
Hanako answers.
Is Sabi in there?
Yeah, I'm in here.
Asami comes in, arm full of papers, more papers than she had before, and she basically just plops them down on Hanako's bed and says, okay, I crunched some of the numbers. I don't know if the train is going to be able to make it through this passage. It's a really large passage. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it through this passage without the energy from the power plant. Were you able to talk the town into letting you do the power plant?
That's an interesting situation. Here is the town as it stands, and Hanako gives the whole layout of, like, waterbenders chill, earthbenders chill, firebenders real fucked, but I've given that layout so many times already that I'm not going to do it again.
Asami sort of blows a puff of air, says, okay. So the firebenders are run by an old racist.
Essentially.
Lovely.
Yes.
Wonderful. What can we do about this?
The negotiations, as they have currently gone, have essentially settled such that as long as we can ensure that there are jobs specifically for firebenders, in addition to jobs for the rest of the town, that should be adequate. The way that I presented this during negotiations was that the firebenders were a central concern of mine, and that I wanted to ensure that they would, be prioritized. As long as we can pitch this in such a situation where it looks like, to the firebending community, they are receiving an influx of good jobs that prioritize them, I believe that we can make this community see reason, at least for long enough to get the train into town.
Okay. And did you pitch anything specific for firebender-specific jobs?
I told him that I would discuss with you the exact options. I don't know everything about Future Industries' capabilities. The specific idea that I floated that seemed to be good for him was that we build foundries in the town, and as opposed to shipping in completed materials for the railroad, ship in raw materials that the firebenders can then set to smelting.
That's a pretty good idea. I don't have any direct ownership of any mines, but I do know some people who do know some people, and I was gonna have the rail manufactured elsewhere, but if we were manufacturing rail for other portions of the railroad in-house, that could not only save us some money, but it could create these jobs. That is not a bad idea at all. Now all we gotta do is get the mayor to agree.
And I want to make this clear. The better that you can make these smelting jobs seem to the firebending community, the more long-term stability this region is going to have. I'm not personally invested in that. I'm invested in making sure you get your railroad built. But it is a consideration.
I'll make sure to put that in the pitch tomorrow.
Yeah, she's really smart. This is way better than my idea of dueling the old racist.
Asami slowly turns to you.
I'm joking.
Are you joking?
She's joking.
I did intentionally bring you all along instead of the actual avatar because I'm tired of dealing with this kind of stuff.
Hanako and Sabi exchange a look, and I think we both say at the same time,
I'm joking.
Okay, good.
I think Asami's gonna go do whatever. I think as she leaves, after she leaves, Sabi leans over to Hanako. This is the second time that I've been compared to someone's girlfriend.
This is becoming a recurring problem for your bosses. And I think Hanako shoots a glare out at Asami as she leaves.
All right, so I think let's speed through some time.
Okay.
We don't have anything else to do right now. I think I want to skip ahead to tomorrow's meeting with the mayor. You guys have your pitch all together. Asami has drafted up a very quick foundry blueprint because she can just do that in 3 hours. And yeah, you guys are back in the mayor's boardroom.
I think Sabi's entire function this meeting is just going to be spreading out or holding various drawings and stuff.
She's doing the thing.
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah. Asami basically, gives the whole pitch for the additional foundry. Is there anything you guys want to add to this pitch when it comes to deals that you made with people in the town?
I think Chong wants to make sure that it's known that the Earthbenders are very happy at the docks and don't want to shift their jobs away from there.
Mayor Ton looks at Chong and says, I had no intention of taking any jobs away from my beloved Earthbending community. I hope that Wen knows that. I hope he trusts me that I wouldn't take away the jobs of him and his family.
Chong puts both his palms up. He's like, look, man, I'm just the messenger. I'm just letting you know that Wen's cool with everything we're planning, as long as nothing job-wise messes with the docks. Okay, just being the messenger, spreading the word.
Hanako says, as for the Water Tribe quarter, they are exceedingly happy with the situation. Their only concern is about whether or not they'll be safe when their jobs are announced.
Well, there ain't really nothing I can do about that.
I believe the best way to make sure that that is true for the longest period of time is to announce the Fire Nation jobs first, and make sure that the Fire Nation jobs are, in some way, better, or at least can be perceived as such that the Fire Nation quarter feels like they are receiving... Here, let me try this again. The Water Tribe quarter is the actual beneficiary of this arrangement. The Fire Nation quarter wants to feel like the beneficiary of this arrangement. As long as it can be posed to them like they are receiving the benefits of this arrangement, I think everything will be fine.
I will keep that in mind. Now, it's come time to talk about my cut of the deal. Miss Sato, how much are you willing to cough up for me to allow you to build this foundry on my land? And Asami looks a little taken aback. She wasn't really expecting this. Excuse me? You heard what I said? I'm being ever so gracious, not charging you to put a power plant next to my docks, because it will bolster my trade. But this foundry, this is your project. How much you willing to cough up?
So you hear Sabi kind of like clear her throat. Miss Sato, if I may, I believe it is typically customary for us to offer a 6% commission on net for this kind of arrangement, but I think given the mayor's outstanding efforts in helping to broker this arrangement, that we could do as well as 8% on net with this.
Asami meets your eye. She knows what you're doing. She knows how to lowball. She says, 8% sounds incredibly generous, especially with the amount of money that we'll be pulling in with this foundry. What do you think, Mr. Mayor? And the mayor is a little bit chuffed at this. Chuffed in the positive way, not in the negative way, because for some reason it means both. He says, well, 8% sounds fantastic. Pleasure doing business with y'all. He signs the deal. You're home free. You guys are all finished here. You're going to leave the town hall. Outside of the town hall, actually, you can see those food booths and whatnot. In one of them is Akka.
I've wanted another bowl for so long. You two stay right here. I'll be right back. Miss Akka!
Oh, hello. I'm not actually open for business right now. I'm just cleaning up, getting ready for the festival in a couple weeks.
Of course, my apologies.
Did you ensure that we'll be making enough money?
Hanako says, I did, as a matter of fact.
Much, much appreciated. Listen, I can tell you're of mixed heritage. You put on a Fire Nation show, and she holds up a curl of her own hair. I know this hair texture from anywhere. Have you tried blubbered seal oil?
Oh, no, I haven't. I grew up in the Fire Nation, and nobody really knew how to I'll try them. Yes, where can I get some?
Actually, I believe there's a shipment coming in pretty soon. There should be some in one of the shops around here.
All right. Yes, I'll. Thank you very much.
Thanks for sticking your neck out for the half of your culture that you aren't quite as familiar with.
I would love to reconnect with it better someday when I'm less on the road. Maybe once the train is finished, I'll come back into town and we can visit, yes?
I'd like that a lot. Haven't had somebody enjoy my sea prunes quite as voraciously as you in a long time. Before you turn to leave, you notice a newspaper, and on the front page, it says, Kiyoshi convicts escaped.
Hanako snatches the paper up immediately, and then I look up to Chong and Sabi, who are nearby, and then I hold the newspaper out to them.
Sabi reaches out to grab the paper and starts reading through the details of the article, which I'm sure you've thought up.
The article essentially is saying that in transit between Omashu and Ba Sing Se, the two convicts from the Kyoshi Island murders, Adenia Adler and Taofang Moran, managed to escape and are now at large.
This is not great news. She hands the paper back to Hanako.
I'll say, this is going to wreak havoc on our future negotiations, if the first two have been any indication of what we'll be encountering.
I wish I could say it doesn't matter that these two random criminals are running around, but I know that's not true. And I know it's unlikely that they just broke out completely by themselves, isn't it?
Where were they being kept? Were they being kept near somewhere that we're going to be by?
They were previously being held in a medium security, smaller prison in Omashu, and they were being moved to a larger prison in Ba Sing Se, like a max, like a super max in Ba Sing Se. And likely they are somewhere near the Siwang Desert.
Hanako is thinking about this. There's a good chance that we'll at least be in the same general area as they are in the southern portion of our trip.
You two fought them. What do you think the chances that the local constabulary is going to be able to pick them up and bring them back into custody?
I think that the only reason we were able to top them is because we had Fuzhou and Chong, who is one of the most skilled airbenders I've ever met, and the help of a particular woman from the Fire Nation, who is one of the most skilled swordswomen I've ever met. So unlikely.
You see Sabi kind of grimace. I guess let's hope we don't run into them.
Lights down.
Thank you for listening to Moment of Balance. This episode featured Janiyah Riley as Sabi, Chrissy Sylvia as Chong, Dami Carmia as Hanako, and Anna Marcus as our GM and producer. The music for this episode was written by Anna Marcus. This episode was edited by Dami Carmia and Anna Marcus. If you liked what you heard, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/badrep. Huge thanks to our patrons: Carl Rigney, Optimistic Duelist, Scarlet, Kai McKenna, Preston Esong, Patrick McCullough, Anarchy Barbie, Chip Highbeams, Cassie the Star Bitch, Softy, Worker B2871, and Rosie Common. Moment of Balance is produced by Bad Rep Productions and is part of the Bard Rock Network. Check out Bad Rep's other shows at badrep.productions and Bard Rock's other shows at bardrockcafe.com. The Bard Rock Network is sponsored by Dragon Master Games at dragonmastergames.com. And remember, sometimes taking the quickest path requires phoning it in.